You believe you understand your dog down to every tiny gesture, right? But there are many strange truths hidden behind those familiar actions, things that might truly surprise you. For example, a wagging tail, a glance, or even a gentle, seemingly meaningless lick is actually sending much deeper messages than you might realize. There are myths about dogs that almost everyone believes to be true, but the reality behind them is completely different. And when you understand these truths, you won't just love your dog more, you'll feel how much you've been quietly loved all this time. So, let's start with the first and most familiar myth, and find out what the real truth is. We often believe that when a dog wags its tail, it's a definite sign of happiness. But the truth is much more subtle. According to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA, tail wagging is simply how dogs communicate emotions. And it can mean happiness, but it can also mean fear or anxiety. A tail wagging low and stiffly shows tension, not joy like we often assume. So next time you see your dog wagging its tail, look at their eyes and body language too, and you'll truly understand what they're trying to say. Have you ever been fooled by that little tail? And if you've ever thought that an old dog can't learn new tricks, then you're missing out on so many miracles. According to the American Kennel Club, AKC, dogs at any age can learn, as long as you're patient and use the right methods. A 10-year-old dog can still learn new tricks and good habits if you believe in them the same way they always believe in you. You might be amazed to see those aging eyes light up with pride after completing a small challenge. Many people also believe that purebred dogs are always healthier than mixed breeds. But research from UC Davis University shows the opposite. Mixed-breed dogs often have more genetic diversity, making them less prone to inherited diseases. Of course, every dog is different, but if you're hesitating between a mixed breed and a purebred, remember that health isn't just about pedigree papers. Sometimes, that special mix creates a stronger and more unique soul than any pure lineage. Have you ever seen your dog sleeping peacefully and thought, "Oh, it's sleeping well because it played itself tired"? Actually, during that sleep, it's very likely that your dog is dreaming. According to Scientific American, dogs have dreams very similar to ours. They dream about familiar parts of their lives, a favorite walk, hugs, the sound of your voice. When those little paws twitch or the mouth moves slightly, maybe they're chasing after you in a colorful dream world. Another belief that sounds logical but is actually dangerous: letting your dog lick your wound to heal faster. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, dog saliva contains many bacteria that can make infections worse. Their good intention is undeniable. The licking is a caring instinct, just like they care for fellow pack members in the wild. But for your wound, it's best to use antiseptic and properly bandage it to protect both yourself and the unconditional love they have for you. So even when we think we know everything about our four-legged friends, there are still many magical truths hidden behind every little action. And there's a very familiar, very everyday action that carries the most secrets: when your dog licks you. Let's dive deeper into the silent world that your dog is trying to whisper into your ear. You might think that your dog licks you simply out of love. That's true, but there's much more to it. When a dog licks your hands, your cheeks, or even your feet, it's releasing endorphins, the happy chemicals in their brain that help them feel calm, safe, and joyful. According to research from the AKC, this behavior stems from early puppyhood, when puppies lick their mother and litter mates to bond and seek protection. When they lick you, it's a silent message: "You are my family." Not only that, their little tongue is also a tool to explore the world. Every lick gathers information about you, your sweat, hormones, emotions. It's like they're building an invisible map of you that they quietly keep. That's also why, after a long day, you come home and get attacked by enthusiastic licks you can't escape. One more amazing thing, a dog's licking behavior is also reinforced by you. Every time they lick and you smile, pet them, or speak gently, they remember, ah, licking equals love. According to Scientific American, this is a very strong form of positive reinforcement, deepening the bond between you and your dog over time. But don't overlook a small detail. If your dog keeps focusing on licking a specific area of your body, like your hand, your leg, or one fixed spot, it could be a sign worth noting. A study from Cambridge University found that dogs can sometimes detect subtle chemical changes in the human body, like infections, arthritis, or even serious diseases. When a loyal nose and tongue persistently remind you, don't ignore it. Of course, if a dog licks too much, almost non-stop, it could be a sign of stress, anxiety, or behavioral disorders. When that happens, give them more attention, more playtime, and gentle hugs, because maybe your dog is simply saying, I need you here with me. Through that little loving tongue, dogs are not just licking. They're expressing a whole world of emotions: love, attachment, a need for comfort, and sometimes just missing you like crazy. Now, every time your dog licks you, remember, it's not just a habit or a game. It's one of the most beautiful and subtle ways they say, I love you. Have you ever had a touching moment when your dog gently licked you with deep affection? Share it with me in the comments, because those stories are exactly what makes this world so beautiful. And if you want to discover even more of your dog's extraordinary abilities, don't miss the next video: How Dogs Detect Bad People and the Protective Instincts You've Never Heard of. If this video helped you see dogs with new eyes, stay with us, because this journey of love still has many magical things waiting for you to explore. Remember to subscribe so you won't miss any emotional journeys with our four-legged friends. We'll always be here, with you and your loyal companions. Have you ever collapsed onto the couch after a long, exhausting day, craving just a moment of peace, when suddenly your dog gently approaches, sticks out their tongue, and starts licking your feet? At first it might seem funny, maybe even cute. But then a thought crosses your mind. Why are they doing this? Is it love, or a hidden cry for help I'm not seeing? I used to think this behavior was just a quirky little habit. Until one day, a friend, a longtime dog trainer, said to me, not all dog behaviors are harmless. Many are signals, and some of those signals are desperate whispers. That statement stopped me in my tracks. We, dog lovers, often assume that feeding them well and taking them for a nightly walk is enough. But what if I told you there are tiny behaviors your dog uses to communicate with you, and if you miss them, you might be overlooking the most important messages of all? Would you be willing to listen? In this video, we'll decode 9 seemingly odd behaviors dogs often display, from licking your feet, lying on your clothes, to barking at night or avoiding eye contact. Each action carries a message. It's your four-legged friend's way of saying something. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. And if you're a true dog lover, someone who genuinely wants to understand and care for their pet the right way, don't forget to hit subscribe. Because each week, I share tiny secrets that can completely transform the way you see the world of dogs, a world where you are the center. So, let's begin with the first behavior: one that seems simple but holds layers of meaning most people miss. There's something strange many dog owners experience but rarely understand. Why does your dog love to lick your feet? Not your hands, not your face, but your feet. It might make you laugh or feel a little weird. But to your dog, this is one of the most instinctive and meaningful ways to connect. According to a study from the University of Tokyo, dogs are attracted to the natural salt on human skin, especially on feet, where sweat glands are most active. But beyond the salty taste, licking feet helps dogs release emotions. It's a way for them to seek comfort, acceptance, or simply to say, "I'm here with you." Many dogs do this almost ritualistically, just to feel closer, kind of like how a child hugs a stuffed animal when missing their parent. And if the behavior makes you a bit uncomfortable, try gently redirecting them with a flavored toy or a soothing pet. But don't scold them. This might be their only way of saying, "I miss you," especially when you've been busy or distant. And if you notice, it's not just about licking. Sometimes your dog might lightly place a paw on your leg or even scratch at you with their nails, like they're trying to say something. You might think they're just being needy. And sometimes that's true. But other times, it's a silent cry for help. "Please notice me." Placing a paw on someone is both an affectionate gesture and a psychological signal. Confident, relaxed dogs do it to build intimacy, like holding hands. But if it's paired with anxious eyes, drooping ears, or a tucked tail, it could mean they're feeling insecure, scared of being left alone, or simply unsure how else to be seen. One quote that has deeply touched many dog owners goes like this: "Dogs don't have words, so they knock on the door of your heart with their actions, from a gentle paw to a full belly-up sprawl." Have you ever wondered why your dog rolls onto their back like they're waiting for a belly rub? Most people think it's an invitation for affection, but the truth is more complex. When a dog shows their belly, they're often expressing submission, trust, a behavior rooted in wild instincts. It's a defensive position, a way of saying, "I mean no harm," especially around other dogs or unfamiliar humans. But when your dog does this during playtime and then suddenly bolts off running in circles, congrats! You've just been invited into a silly, strategic game they love. Enjoy the moment, because not everyone gets to earn the kind of trust that reveals such a vulnerable side. Much like the belly-up pose, digging or scratching at carpets often gets misunderstood. Ever felt annoyed when your dog claws at your brand-new rug? But to them, this is ancient survival instinct. In the wild, dogs dug the earth to make beds, hide scents, or simply find a comfy spot. Today, in the absence of dirt, your carpet becomes their substitute terrain. If your dog does this often, it could be a sign of anxiety, excess energy, or just a need to create a safe space. Instead of scolding, try offering a designated cozy bed with soft blankets or an engaging toy. You might see the behavior fade. Every scratch says, "I need a place that's mine." And have you ever seen this heartwarming moment? You come home after a long day, drop your bag, change clothes, and turn around, only to find your dog curled up on your old jacket. It's not because the jacket is soft, it's because it smells like you. Dogs have incredibly sensitive noses, and your scent is safety, peace, and pack. When they lie on your clothes, scarves, or even socks, it's not mischief, it's their way of hugging you when you're not around. This behavior becomes especially obvious when you're away for days, and your scent is the comforting pillow they cling to in loneliness. If you'd rather avoid fur on your clothes, leave an old blanket that smells like you near their bed. But remember this: you are home, and they're holding on to that home with everything they've got. Just through 5 seemingly simple behaviors: licking feet, placing paws, rolling onto their back, scratching rugs, and lying on your clothes, we uncover layers of emotion and hidden messages. And we're not done yet. The next behaviors are even easier to miss, because they happen in silence. And sometimes, silence speaks the loudest. Don't look away, because up next we'll explore why dogs lick their lips for no reason or avoid eye contact, and how those tiny signs might mean something very big. Have you ever seen your dog licking their lips repeatedly or suddenly yawning, even when they're not hungry or tired? These little actions are often dismissed as normal. But in the dog world, they are whispers of emotion. Lip-licking and yawning can be signs of mild stress, ways dogs soothe themselves in moments of discomfort, anxiety, or tension. Maybe you yelled in frustration, not even at them, or a stranger visited. Your dog can't say, "I'm a bit scared," so instead, they lick their lips. Next time, notice this, and instead of ignoring it, kneel down and say softly, "It's okay. I'm here." That one sentence can make their whole world feel safer. But if that seems subtle, another behavior confuses owners even more. When dogs avoid your gaze, many assume it means they're mad or they don't love me anymore. But no, it's a language of hurt or fear. In dog terms, direct eye contact can be a challenge. If your dog has ever been punished, scolded loudly, or had a scary experience you didn't even notice, looking away might be their way of keeping the peace. Those few seconds of looking away could be a silent apology or a whisper that says, "Please, don't be upset. I'm trying." And in that moment, your gentle eyes might be the most powerful healing tool. There will be days when you feel like a shadow. Everywhere you go, your dog follows, from the kitchen to the bathroom. Some people joke, "My dog's obsessed." But this is often a sign of deep attachment and hidden anxiety. Dogs are pack animals, and in their eyes, you are the whole pack. When you move, they follow, not because they're afraid you'll disappear, but because you are their one source of safety. This behavior is especially common after major changes, long absences, new people in the house, or even when you feel down. A friend once told me, "I wasn't crying, just sitting quietly, but my dog stayed by my feet the whole time, never looking away." That action, to them, was a silent promise. No matter what happens, I'll stay right here. And finally, when night falls and you've just closed your eyes, suddenly your dog starts barking, seemingly at nothing. No intruders, no strange noise, just scattered, anxious barks. You might think they're seeing ghosts or they're overreacting. But what if it's fear of being left alone? Separation anxiety is more common than most people realize. During the day, with you nearby, they're fine. But when nighttime silence sets in, loneliness can become overwhelming. Barking becomes their only way to check. Are you still there? And when you open the door, they stop immediately. Because all they needed was reassurance that you're still close. Instead of scolding, try leaving a shirt you wore during the day in their bed, or play soft music. Sometimes that's all they need to feel like they haven't been abandoned in the dark. We often think we understand our pets, until we realize there are dozens of emotional signals we've missed, misread, or dismissed. But you know what the most beautiful part is? Dogs don't hold it against us. They just want us to understand a little more, listen a little closer, and love them a little better. Every day. If you've made it this far, You're truly a thoughtful pet parent. And if you think what I've shared could help someone else, a friend, a family member, or anyone who has a dog, don't hesitate to share this video with them. And don't forget to subscribe, so every week we can take one more step together on the journey to becoming your dog's true best friend. Because they're not just pets, they're family. And family deserves to be understood. Does your dog stretch the moment they see you? You walk through the door, and there they are. Front legs stretched low, tail, high eyes locked right on you. Most people think it's just a simple stretch after a nap. But it's not. It's a quiet, powerful signal from your dog's heart, and you might be missing what it really means. Today we'll uncover the truth behind that greeting stretch and 9 other subtle behaviors that reveal just how deeply your dog loves you. If you've ever wanted to understand your dog in a way that changes how you see each other, this is where it starts. Let's begin with one that might surprise you. And yes, it's a little unusual. You've probably felt it before. You're standing in the kitchen, maybe boots still on, and he comes up, lowers his head, and starts licking your feet. You flinch a little because, yeah, it's not exactly the cleanest habit. But have you ever wondered why he chooses your feet of all things? Is it just random affection, or is there something he's trying to find out? Here's what most people don't realize. Every time he licks your feet, he's running a full emotional checkup on you. Your skin, your sweat, even the scent that clings to your socks carry a chemical map of where you've been, who you've met, and how you're feeling. You might not think you're giving away much, but to him, it's like opening a book with the pages still warm. Inside his mouth and nose is something you don't have, Jacobson's organ. It's a second scent system that lets him taste emotions. If you've had a rough day, your stress hormones are right there in your scent. And when he picks up on it, what does he do? He comforts you in the way he knows best. Sometimes that means a slow, steady lick, like he's saying, "I'm here, you're okay." Think about that for a second. How many people in your life can read you that easily without you saying a word? How many even bother to check? He does it every single time without fail. So the next time you feel that nudge on your ankle and those warm, rough licks on your foot, maybe don't pull away right away. He's not being weird. He's being your therapist, your friend, and your biggest supporter all at once. And if he's this tuned in when you're standing in the kitchen, imagine what he's saying when he follows you into the most private room in the house. You've noticed it, haven't you? You get up close the bathroom door, and before you can even turn the lock, he's right there. Maybe he squeezes in behind you. Maybe he just sits outside staring at the crack in the door like it's a security post. You tell him, "I'll be right out," but he doesn't budge. Ever stop to wonder why? It's not that he doesn't understand privacy. Dogs don't even have that concept. To him, that door isn't keeping you safe, it's cutting you off from his watch. Out in the wild, members of a pack guard each other in their most vulnerable moments, sleeping, eating, even just resting. You in the bathroom. That's vulnerability in his book. And he's not about to leave you unguarded. Think about the people you've trusted most in your life. A partner on a night shift, a buddy on patrol, the one who stays awake so you can close your eyes. That's who he's trying to be for you. He'd rather sit uncomfortably on cold tile than risk not being there if something happened. And to him, that's love in its purest form. Here's the thing, he doesn't care if you think it's odd. He's not asking for thanks. He's just fulfilling his role, the same way you've fulfilled yours every day of his life. So the next time you see those eyes watching from the doorway, maybe ask yourself this: how many living beings in your life would guard you when you're at your most unglamorous? He will. Always. And if you think that's loyalty, wait until you see what he does when you start talking to him. You've seen it mid-sentence. He freezes, tilts his head to one side, and those ears shift just enough to catch every syllable. You smile because it's cute, maybe even laugh, but have you ever wondered what's actually going on in that moment? Is he just posing for your attention? Or is he working harder than you think? That tilt isn't just for show. Inside his head, he's tuning his hearing the way you might fine-tune a radio. One side of his brain is catching the emotion in your voice, the other is sorting out the meaning of the words. Left tilt when he's decoding feelings. Right tilt when he's focusing on commands. He's not just listening. He's analyzing, piecing together the tone, the pitch, even the memories tied to certain words. Why do you think he saves that move for you and not the TV or the neighbor talking over the fence? Because your voice is his most important sound. It's the one that means food's coming, walks are starting, or comfort is near. And it's the one that tells him if you're happy, tired, or carrying something heavier than groceries. Imagine that someone so tuned in they can read your mood in a single sentence. How many people in your life do that without being asked? He's doing it every time his head tilts. So the next time you see those curious eyes lock on you at that funny angle, remember, he's not confused, he's connecting. And once he's figured you out, he's going to tell you how he feels. Sometimes with nothing more than a long, slow breath. You've heard it, a long, slow exhale that seems to empty his whole body. He's lying next to you on the couch, or maybe curled up at the foot of your bed, and out it comes. You think, he must be tired. But what if that sigh means a lot more than sleepiness? What if it's his way of telling you exactly how he feels in that moment? A deep sigh in dogs is more than just pushing air out. It's a signal. When he does it, while resting against you, it's him saying, I'm relaxed. Life is good. When he sighs, but keeps his eyes open and his body alert, he might be telling you, something's off, but I've got this. And here's the thing, when you've been away that first sigh after you return, that's not fatigue. That's his emotional reset. It's him finally letting go of whatever tension built up while you were gone. Have you ever noticed how your own breathing changes when you know someone's got your back? That's exactly what's happening here. His sigh is the canine version of you taking off your boots at the end of a long shift, feeling the weight come off your shoulders. And if you've ever thought you don't matter as much as you hope, remember, his breathing literally changes when you're near. So the next time you hear that sound, don't dismiss it as boredom. He's telling you something precious. You've given him peace. And when you walk through the door tomorrow, he might not sigh right away. He might greet you with a stretch so full of joy it pulls you into his world before you've even put down your keys. You open the door, and before you can even say his name, he drops into that low front-stretched chest, down tail, high eyes bright, like he's been waiting all day. You've seen dogs do this at the park, maybe before a game of fetch. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself why he does it the second you walk in? Is it just stretching out sore muscles? Or is it something only meant for you? That move is called a play bow. And in the dog world, it's an open invitation. It's how they tell another dog or you, I'm happy you're here. Let's connect. When he gives you that stretch as soon as you arrive, it's not random. It's him saying, you are the best part of my day, and I want your attention right now. It's a burst of joy compressed into one perfect pose. Most people brush past it thinking cute, and then go about their business. But for him, if you ignore it, it's like a handshake left hanging. Imagine greeting a friend you haven't seen in years, only to have them walk right by. That's what it feels like to him when you don't respond. So here's a question. How long does it take to let him know you feel the same? 30 seconds of play a scratch under the chin, a quick laugh shared between the two of you. For him, that moment can light up the whole day. And once you start answering that stretch, you'll see something change. He'll give you more of them. And when you're gone too long, he'll find other ways to keep you close, even if it means swiping something that smells like you. You've lost socks before, right? You pull a load out of the dryer and one's just gone. But sometimes you catch him with it, tucked between his paws, maybe in his bed eyes wide like he's been caught with gold. You tell him to drop it, but have you ever wondered why he took it in the first place? Is it mischief? Or is it something a lot more personal? Your socks, your shirt, that old cap you wear in the yard, they're saturated with your scent. To you, it's just laundry. To him, it's emotional comfort food. When you're away, that smell is the closest thing he has to you. So he takes it not to ruin it, but to keep you close. Dogs in the wild will curl up with the scent of their pack mates when they're apart. He's doing the same thing, just swapping fur and leaves for cotton and denim. Think about that. Out of everything in the house, he chooses something that smells most like you. Not the dog bed, not his toys. You. How many living beings in your life would hold on to something of yours just to feel closer? And here's the kicker, when you scold him for it, he doesn't understand why you're upset. In his mind, he's not stealing. He's holding on to you. So maybe next time, instead of taking it away right away, you give him a minute. Let him have that comfort. Because in his world, you are home. And when you're truly home, he might show his trust in an even deeper way, by turning his back to you. You've seen it. He walks over, sits down, and then turns his back to you. No wag, no nudge, no eye contact. And you're left thinking, what did I do? Is he mad at me? But what if I told you? That's not distance. It's the exact opposite. In the dog world, turning your back isn't a snub. It's trust at its highest level. Out in the wild, to turn away from another animal is to leave yourself exposed. You don't do it unless you know that whoever's behind you has your back literally. So when he plants himself facing the other way, he's saying, I know you'll keep me safe. I don't have to watch for danger because you're here. Think about how rare that is. How many people do you trust enough to turn your back on completely? In your life, that list is short. For him, you're on it. And he's not doing it for anyone else. It's easy to miss moments like this because they're quiet. They don't shout love the way a wagging tail does. But in some ways, they're more powerful. Because in that stillness, he's handing over his safety to you. And sometimes, when that bond is strong enough, he'll bring you something, his most prized possession, not because you asked, but because in his eyes, you've earned it. You're sitting there, maybe watching TV or fixing something at the table, and here he comes, tail swaying, eyes bright, carrying his favorite toy. He drops it at your feet, steps back, and looks at you like he's waiting for something. You might think he just wants to play. But what if this is more than a game? What if it's a kind of gift? In a dog's world, giving up something they love, especially their favorite toy, is a big deal. It's not just, here, throw this. It's, this is mine, and I'm sharing it with you because you matter more than the thing I treasure most. Out in nature, sharing resources is a sign of deep trust and strong bonds. Pack members will bring food or safe objects to those they want to protect and connect with. So why this toy? Because in his eyes, you're not just part of the pack, you're the most important part. And here's something you might not have realized. Even when he brings you socks, shoes, or some random object from another room, it's the same instinct. He's contributing to the home, adding to what the two of you share. How many living beings in your life would hand over their most prized possession without hesitation? He does it without thinking twice. And sometimes, after making that offering, he'll settle down next to you in a way that says even more without a sound, without a move, just by the way he sleeps. You've seen it 100 times. He's asleep beside you, maybe pressed right against your leg, maybe stretched out at the foot of your bed. Or he's lying with his back to you facing the door like he's on watch. You might think it's just where he landed after turning in circles. But have you ever asked yourself why he chooses that exact spot, that exact position night after night? Dogs don't pick sleeping spots at random. When he presses his body against yours, he's saying, "You're my safe place." When he sleeps facing the door, he's guarding you, putting himself between you and whatever might come through. And when he turns his back to you while he sleeps, that's trust in its purest form. He's exposing his most vulnerable side because he knows you'll protect him. Think about your own life. Who would you sleep beside without worry? Who would you trust so completely that you could turn your back and close your eyes? That list isn't long. For him, it's just one name, yours. And there's more. When he rests his head on your pillow or curls into the space where you sleep, he's not just after comfort. He's surrounding himself with your scent, the way a soldier keeps a photo in his pocket, the way you hold onto something that reminds you of home. So the next time you see him choose that spot, know this: it's not habit, it's loyalty. And when the sun's up and you're moving through the house, he might still keep that same mission, planting himself in one very strategic place. You've tripped over him there more than once, sprawled right in the middle of the doorway, head up, eyes following you no matter which way you move. You tell him to scoot, but he doesn't. And maybe you've wondered, why here, out of all the places in the house? Why plant yourself right where I'm trying to walk? It's not laziness, it's strategy. Doorways are points of movement, the spots where you pass from one place to another. From that position, he can see where you go, hear what you're doing, and be ready to follow at a second's notice. In the wild pack, members often take up posts in choke points, narrow spaces where they can watch both directions. Your doorway is his checkpoint. Ask yourself how many living beings in your life stay that close, not because they have to, but because they want to be ready for you. He's not blocking your way. He's guarding your path. Every time you step over him, he's saying, if something happens, I'm here. If you need me, I'll know before you call. And here's the part most people miss: he's not doing this for everyone. Friends, neighbors, even family might walk past and get nothing but a glance. But you get the full patrol treatment. Because in his mind, your safety is his job, and he's on the clock 24/7. So next time you find him stretched across the doorway, don't just see an obstacle. See the partner who's been watching over you in 100 quiet ways every single day. And when you think back on all these signs, every stretch, every gift, every watchful eye, you'll realize he's been saying, I love you, in a language you can finally understand. You walk through the door again, just like we started. Boots, heavy shoulders tired, maybe the cold still on your coat. And there he is, front legs stretched, tail-high eyes locked on you like nothing else in the world matters. Now you know, it's not just a stretch. It's the first word in a sentence he's been building your whole life together. Every lick, every guard shift at the bathroom door, every head tilt, every sigh, those weren't random moments. They were pages in the story he's been telling you without saying a word. And now you can read them. You can see the trust when he turns his back, You can feel the devotion when he brings you his favorite toy. You can understand the peace in the way he sleeps beside you. Even the way he plants himself in the doorway isn't about being in your way. It's about making sure you're never alone in it. So here's the question now that you can see it. What will you do with it? Will you pause for the stretch instead of walking past? Will you answer the toy gift with a smile instead of setting it aside? Will you let him keep that sock for just a little longer? Because you understand what it means. He's been learning you from day one. Reading your moods, sensing your stress, guarding your quiet moments. Now you can do the same for him. Because in the end, it's not about commands or tricks. It's about speaking a shared language you didn't know you already had. And maybe tonight, when you walk through that door and see him drop into that goofy, perfect stretch, you'll remember you're not just coming home to your dog. You're coming home to someone who's been saying, "I love you" in 10 different ways every single day. And now, you finally understand every word. You are sleeping soundly, the kind of deep sleep that only comes after a long day. The house was still the clock ticking in the dark. And then you felt it, a gentle weight pressing against your chest. Not heavy, not urgent, just there. You opened your eyes and found your dog's paw resting right over your heart. His eyes fixed on you, as if he was checking something only he could sense. Maybe you thought he just wanted to go out, or maybe it was a clumsy accident. But what if it wasn't? What if that paw was saying something you've never been taught to hear? You feed him, walk him, keep him warm at night. You've given him love in every way you know how. And in return, he gives you loyalty, companionship, maybe even a laugh or two when you need it most. But here's the thing. What if the most important message he's ever sent you didn't come in a bark, a wag, or even a cuddle, but in that simple act of placing his paw on you? Most people think it's begging for food. Some think it's a demand for attention. But if you've ever had that paw land on you when you were sad, sick, or even asleep, you know there's more to it. In fact, only a small fraction of dog owners truly understand what that paw really means. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Think about the times it's happened to you. The way he rests his paw on your knee when you're lost in thought. The way she presses it gently against your arm when you're sitting in silence. Have you ever stopped to wonder why? What if I told you that every time it happens, there's a story unfolding? A story that could be about love, about protection, or even about your health. In the next few minutes, we're going to decode 10 powerful reasons your dog reaches out to you with that paw. No complicated training, no special tools, just a shift in how you see him and how you let him see you. By the end, you'll not only understand the gesture, you'll feel it in a way you never have before. Ready to see what only a few dog owners in the world truly understand. Let's begin with the most common yet least understood reason. Your dog places his paw on you. When your dog's paw meets your skin, something happens. Something you can't see, but your body feels it. Inside both of you, tiny chemical messengers are firing. Your heart rate might slow just a little. Your shoulders drop, and without even knowing it, you take a deeper breath. Have you ever noticed that a single touch from your dog can make the whole world feel less heavy? Science has a name for it: oxytocin. It's often called the love hormone, the same one that bonds mothers to their newborns. When your dog places his paw on you, especially with that soft, steady pressure, it's not just affection, it's biology. Research shows that physical touch between you and your dog boosts oxytocin in both of you, lowering stress and deepening trust. And here's the wild part. It works both ways. Your dog feels calmer, safer, more connected to you at the exact same moment you feel the same about him. Think back to the last time it happened. Maybe you were sitting quietly and his paw just slid onto your knee. You didn't ask for it, and he didn't demand anything in return. He just stayed there. That wasn't an accident. That was his way of anchoring himself to you and pulling you closer into his world. And in that moment, without a single word, you were both telling each other, "I trust you. I'm here." But here's where it gets even more interesting. What if that same paw, the one you think of as a sign of love, is sometimes something else entirely? What if in certain moments it's less about comfort and more about keeping you alive? Could your dog's paw actually be a warning, a quiet way of saying something's not right? It might sound far-fetched, but the next reason will make you see that paw in a way you never have before. For some dogs, that paw isn't just affection, it's an alarm you didn't know you had. You might think you're fine, but he knows better. Have you ever had your dog paw at you out of nowhere? His eyes locked on yours, almost refusing to let go. Maybe it happened when you were watching TV or drifting off to sleep, or even when you felt perfectly healthy. What if that paw was your early warning system? Dogs can detect changes in your body that you can't feel yourself. They pick up on shifts in your breathing, your heart rate, even your scent when your blood sugar drops. Diabetic alert dogs are trained to paw their owners when glucose levels fall. Cardiac alert dogs do the same when they sense an irregular heartbeat. And here's the thing, many untrained dogs do it too. They may not know why something's different, but they know it is, and they're trying to tell you. I've heard stories from people just like you, a man whose rescue pity pawed him awake in the middle of the night, only for him to realize later he was having trouble breathing. A woman whose Goldie put her paw on her sister's lap moments before her insulin monitor beeped. You can call it instinct, you can call it training, but either way, it's life-saving. So the next time that paw lands on you out of the blue, ask yourself, what's he feeling that you're not? Could he be catching something before you do? And here's another question. If he does this when you're perfectly healthy, why? What is he trying to tell you? Then, that's where we need to go next. Because sometimes that paw isn't a warning at all. Sometimes it's a blanket of calm in the middle of your storm. Sometimes that paw isn't sounding an alarm. It's wrapping you in quiet reassurance. You know those days when the weight of the world sits squarely on your chest, when you can't quite put into words what's wrong, but you feel it anyway. Your dog feels it too. He doesn't need to hear you say you're stressed. He doesn't need to see tears. He feels it in the way your shoulders slump, in the way your breathing changes, in the way you move just a little slower than usual. And instead of leaving you alone, he closes the gap, reaches out, and places his paw right where you'll notice it. Science tells us that when this happens, something chemical is happening inside you. Touch from your dog can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, almost instantly. It's why PTSD support dogs are trained to use pawing as a grounding tool. That gentle contact pulls you out of the spiral and into the moment, back to a place where you can breathe again. And sometimes you don't even realize how badly you needed it until it's there. Have you ever been sitting quietly, maybe thinking about something that went wrong, and then felt that little nudge of fur and warmth on your hand? Did you stop what you were doing, even for a second? That pause, that's him giving you the space to come back to yourself. For him, your calm is his reward. But here's something most people never think about. What if the paw works both ways? What if in that same moment, he's not just comforting you, but asking for comfort himself? Because for dogs who've lived through loss, fear or long nights alone pawing isn't just about giving. It's about reaching for the one place they feel safe. And that's where we're heading next. Because when you see that paw from his side of the story, everything changes. For some dogs especially, those who've been through more than you'll ever know, that paw isn't just a gift, it's a lifeline. Think about a rescue dog who's known hunger cold, or the sound of a gate closing behind them. Think about an old dog whose joints ache a little more each morning, who's seen people come and go. For them, safety isn't something they take for granted. It's something they reach for. And often, they reach for it through you. When your dog lays that paw on you in the quiet, it can be his way of saying, "Don't drift too far. I need you close." It's not about food or play or even a walk. It's about anchoring himself to the one person who makes him feel like the world can't touch him. Have you noticed how sometimes he'll do it right, before you leave the room, or when you're distracted, or after a loud noise? That's not coincidence. That's need. Rescue dogs, senior dogs, even those who've simply had a rough week. They all have moments when the world feels just a little too big, and you are their small, steady place in it. That paw is his way of holding on. And here's the thing, when you respond, when you rest your hand on his paw, or lean into him for a second, you're not just easing his fear. You're reinforcing a truth he carries deep inside. You're not going anywhere. But here's something that might surprise you. This need for reassurance isn't just personal, it's ancient. Long before they were sleeping on our couches, dogs lived by a code written in the wild, a code where touch was survival, and proximity was protection. And that's where we're headed next. Because to truly understand the paw, you have to understand the pack. Before your dog ever had a bed by the fireplace, or a basket of toys, his ancestors lived by rules you and I could never survive without. In the wild, the pack is everything. It hunts together, travels together, rests together. And touch isn't random, it's communication. Wolves and wild dogs use physical contact to signal everything from "I'm with you" to "I've got your back." A paw on the shoulder or a nudge from behind can be the difference between safety and danger. When your dog places his paw on you, he's not just borrowing from the language of love, he's speaking the ancient language of the pack. In that moment, you're not just his person, you're his pack leader, his hunting partner, his safe place. Have you noticed how he sometimes does it when you're out in public or when strangers come close? That's not random. That's positioning. He's reaffirming the bond, and in his own way, reminding you that you belong to each other. And here's where it gets interesting. Pack touch isn't just about closeness. It's also about guarding. In a wild setting, one member rests while another stays alert, often maintaining contact to signal "I'm here, I'm watching." When your dog rests his paw on you while scanning the room, he's not just relaxing, he's on duty. So the next time you feel that paw, while his gaze is turned outward, ask yourself, who is he watching out for? The answer is always you. And that protective thread runs deeper than most people realize, because in some cases, that paw is doing more than connecting, it's quietly placing itself between you and the world. And that's exactly where we're going next. Sometimes that paw is more than a sign of belonging, it's a shield. You might not notice it at first. Maybe you're sitting on the couch reading and your dog shifts his weight so one paw rests gently on your leg. Or you're lying in bed half asleep and he stretches out just enough so his paw touches your arm. It feels casual, almost lazy. But then you realize his eyes aren't on you. They're on the door, the hallway, the space beyond your little bubble. This is instinct at work. In the wild, a member of the pack might keep physical contact while watching the surroundings, ready to alert the others if something changes. Your dog may not be chasing predators away from a den, but in his mind the role is the same. Keep you safe. That paw says, you rest, I'll watch. Have you ever been in a new place, someone else's house, a hotel room, and noticed your dog staying closer than usual, paw touching you more often? Or have you seen him do it when a stranger walks into the room, his body still but alert? That's not by accident. It's him claiming the spot between you and whatever's out there. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Sometimes that protective instinct isn't loud or obvious. There's no barking, no growling. Just that quiet, steady contact, letting you know you're covered. But when that paw comes with something else, when his eyes lock on yours while he's touching you, the meaning deepens in ways most owners don't realize. That combination of touch and gaze can change the whole conversation between you. And that's where we're headed next. When that paw touches you and his eyes meet yours, the conversation changes. It's no longer just a signal you can feel, it's one you can feel and read at the same time. Dogs rarely hold eye contact in the wild. Among animals, a stare can mean challenge or threat. But with you, your dog's gaze is different. It's soft, steady, almost like he's looking through you, instead of at you. And when that gaze comes with his paw on you, the message is amplified. Science has proven that mutual eye contact between you and your dog raises oxytocin levels in both of you. Add physical touch to that, and you're doubling the effect. It's why those moments feel so grounding, why your breathing matches his without you even realizing it. Have you ever noticed that 1 second you're lost in thought, maybe feeling a little off, and then you meet his eyes with his paws still resting on you, and suddenly the noise in your head just quiets? In that moment, he's not just there, he's with you, tuned to your rhythm, waiting for your response. And here's the question: what do you think he's reading in your eyes? Because if you've ever felt like he can sense your mood before you speak, you're right. He's picking up more than body language, he's listening to your heartbeat, your breath, and now the look in your eyes. But this combination isn't always about deep emotional connection. Sometimes that paw and gaze duo is just his way of saying, "Come on, let's go." And the trick is knowing the difference. That's where play comes in. Because in the middle of a game, a paw can mean something completely different. And if you mistake it, you might miss out on the fun. Not every paw on you is a heart-to-heart moment. Sometimes it's pure mischief. You've seen it, the way he bounces toward you mid-game, plants a paw on your arm, and then bolts away like you've just been tagged. In those moments, it's not about comfort or protection. It's about pulling you into his world of play. Dogs use their paws with each other the same way tapping a shoulder or chest to start a chase or signal your turn. But here's where it gets tricky. Play pawing can look a lot like affection pawing, if you don't know what to watch for. Have you noticed how his body language changes? In play, the paw comes with bright eyes, a loose body, maybe even a play bow. In affection, it's slower, more deliberate, paired with calm breathing, or that soft sigh you felt against your arm. Why does this matter to you? Because how you respond teaches him what that paw means in your relationship. If you treat play pawing like affection, you might end up encouraging him to demand attention when you're not ready. If you treat affection pawing like play, you might miss a chance to connect when he's reaching for you emotionally. So how can you tell the difference in the moment? The answer often lies in the seconds after the paw lands. Does he spring into motion ready to run? Or does he settle in waiting for your hand? And here's another layer. Sometimes pawing isn't play or affection. Sometimes it's something he's learned, gets him exactly what he wants. That's where we're going next. Because once you realize you've been training him without even knowing it, you'll see that paw in a whole new way. Sometimes that paw isn't about instinct at all. It's about you. More specifically, it's about what you've taught him, even if you didn't mean to. Dogs are masters at patterns. They notice what works, what gets a reaction, and they store it away like a favorite toy. If every time he rests his paw on your leg, you give him a treat, or scratch behind his ears, or let him up on the couch, guess what? He's going to keep doing it. Not because he's trying to trick you, but because in his mind, pawing equals reward. Have you ever caught yourself responding before you even think he lays that paw down, and your hand just goes to his head? Or you automatically say, "Hey, buddy," and start talking to him. You might not even notice you're reinforcing it. Over time, this turns into a loop he can't resist. He paws, you react, he gets what he wants. Now, there's nothing wrong with a habit built on love. But if you've ever found yourself wondering, why does he paw me constantly when I'm busy? This might be the reason. He's not being pushy. He's just doing what you've trained him to do without realizing it. So here's the question. How do you keep the sweetness of that paw without letting it become an unwanted habit? The answer isn't to ignore it completely, but to respond in a way that teaches him when pawing is welcome and when it's not. And that's where we're heading next. Because when you learn to answer that paw the right way, you're not just managing behavior, you're deepening the bond in ways you can both feel. Every paw your dog places on you is a message. The real question is, are you answering in a way he understands? If you've followed him through all the reasons we've explored, you know by now that pawing can mean love, protection, reassurance, play, or even a learned habit. And the way you respond is what shapes how he'll use it in the future. When it's a moment of affection, maybe he's calm eyes, soft breathing, steady, acknowledge it. Rest your hand over his paw for a second. Let him know you feel the connection too. That's you speaking his language back to him. When it's play, bright eyes, bouncy posture, join in if you can, or redirect if you can't. That teaches him you're paying attention, but also that you set the rhythm of your time together. If it's a moment of need, he's pawing because he's anxious, or you sense something's off, pause. Look at him, read the rest of his body language. Is he trying to tell you something about your own health, like those stories we've talked about? Or is he asking for comfort? In either case, meeting that need strengthens the trust between you. And when it's just a habit he's picked up, decide if you want to keep it. If not, wait for a different behavior to reward eye contact sitting quietly so he learns there are more ways to connect. The point isn't to stop the paw, it's to guide it, so it always carries meaning you both value. Have you ever thought about what would happen if you started treating every paw as a chance to connect instead of just react? How much deeper would your bond go if you answered his language with your own? Because once you start doing that, you'll never see his paw the same way again. And when we circle back to that moment in the dark, the one where his paw rested over your heart, you'll understand why it mattered more than you ever realized.